When you think of true rock royalty, there's one name that comes to mind. Freddie Mercury, the man, the myth, the mustache. As the flamboyant frontman of Queen, he was a shooting star leaping through the sky, but tragically, he would burn out far too soon. In this special two-part episode, we'll be exploring the real life of a musical champion and the terrible circumstances that led to his death on a quiet Sunday afternoon in 1991. If you're looking for a feel-good fantasy, go watch the movie Bohemian Rhapsody. This podcast may not be your bag. For the rest of you, grab your crown, raise your mic stand, and get ready for a killer time. This week on Death in Entertainment.
Live from Los Angeles.
911, what is your emergency?
Here in Hollywood now.
2 counts of murder,
Injury and death.
Oh my God!
Shocking new details.
That has stunned the entertainment world.
This makes me a little nervous.
The hair stood up on my arms.
Just like in the movies.
What do you call this thing anyway?
Death
In entertainment.
Hello, deados and darlings.
Oh, my Lord, here we are.
Hello, lovies.
We got a little bit of Brit-ish today.
Kyle's been possessed by someone who I don't care for.
I'm broken.
Kyle's out of pocket.
What is
Right
going on, everybody? My name is Kyle Plouffe.
My name is Mark Mulcairn.
And I'm Alejandro Dowling.
And we are discussing the lively life until the end of the life of Mr. Freddie Mercury.
On a lively life.
We have a crazy little thing called Kyle Plouffe here today.
Yeah.
Crazy little thing called death.
Yeah. Kyle's nuts. Are you a big Queen fan? I feel like you are based on your
Oh, I'm a
reactions today.
big queen, baby.
You're just a queen.
Yeah.
Speaking of queens, check out the skeleton in the background
Hey,
today.
hands on the hips.
Very sassy.
Sup?
Yeah.
By the way, we still need to figure out. This is the official mascot of the Dipod here. We've had some comments of people being like, "You need to name the skeleton behind us," and I don't think I've said it on the podcast yet. But my vote was for Calciumberto.
Oh, that's funny.
Is it?
Because of the bones.
so
the bones. yeah.
Calci
Funny.
Umberto.
Yeah.
So funny I forgot to laugh.
Damn.
Well, deados, keep brainstorming. Think of a name for our friend over there.
Yeah.
So Kyle's giving you an example of what not to do.
Exactly. Yeah. I lead by non-example.
Yeah. So take his lead and send us an email,
Do something else with it.
please.
And we got a big episode here today.
This is a very big episode.
Yeah.
This is a suggestion from patron
Yeah.
Tiger Lily.
Hey, Tiger Lily.
Thank you, Tiger Lily.
We love you. Tiger Lily is one of the biggest, most vocal supporters out there.
Biggest
So,
diehead alive.
yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could be.
Speaking of, get Freddie Mercury not alive.
Yeah.
That's a spoiler alert here.
Woo.
And on
Wait, did he
that
die?
note, why don't we glide on over to November 24th, 1991.
Let's go.
Do it. November 24th, 1991. Oh my goodness. I kind of remember 1991.
I'll do a little bit. It's weird because I remember buying the Queen CD Best of Greatest Hits because I just wanted the song from Wayne's World.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I bought the whole Best of, and my friends are like, "Why are you buying that?"
If you're going to spew into this.
Yeah.
It's the tiniest cup.
The song gave me chills. Like my arm hair was sticking up during it.
Okay, it's a little TMI.
Yeah.
My mom and friend of the show, Auntie Jill, took me and my little cousin, Mark, to go see Wayne's World
Separate
live.
Mark, different Mark.
Different Mark, yeah.
Yeah.
Better Mark for sure. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I've met this Mark also.
Yeah.
I believe this was the same year you saw 101 Dalmatians and laughed at your aunt for
Yes.
tripping.
Different movie theater though. That was
Okay.
Braintree. This was Quincy Center. Back when
Ooh.
Quincy Center had a movie theater. So yeah, there's a lot going on.
A lot
But
going on.
in the world of movies, I actually saw 2 of these 3 movies at the Quincy movie theater. I'll go ahead and say number 3 was Beauty and the Beast.
Oh.
I saw that in the theater.
Angela Lansbury. Other people.
Wow. You have like an encyclopedic knowledge of this movie.
No, just
Jerry-
of Angela Lansbury. That's it.
Yeah.
Jerry Orbach
Yeah.
Oh,
At-
Orbach.
as the candle, the French candle.
Oh,
Yeah.
be our guest.
Did you know that was the guy from Law and Order?
No. Wait, what?
Jerry Orbach.
I don't know Jerry Orbach by
Wait,
name,
what
but I
does
know
he play in Law
exactly
and
who
Order?
you're
What-
talking
I
about.
always-
He was in like 1,000 episodes.
I know
No, I know that.
exactly who
with
you're
Sam
talking about.
Waterston.
Yeah, of course. But for some reason, it escapes me right now what his name was on Law and Order.
Oh, his character name.
His character
I don't
name.
know that.
Oh
Munch?
my God.
Not Munch.
I'm bringing his picture up right now, Mark. You'll freak.
I know who Jerry Orbach was, of course.
But this is Garcon?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I had no idea this was Garcon.
He was a multi-talent, I guess.
Yeah.
He had range, this guy.
He
Look at
performed
this
it
guy.
at the Oscars that
Yeah.
year.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Wow. Be our guest.
Yeah.
He was also in Dirty
Go to jail.
Dad and Dirty Dancing.
Yes.
All right, Kyle, calm down.
Kyle shot out of a cannon today.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's like we're gonna have to tie him down to the chair.
Tie me down.
It's not going well. Here.
Okay, number 2 movie.
Yes, number 2 movie is Cape Fear.
Martin Scorsese, Robert De Niro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
My favorite part of that one is when he's laughing his ass off in the movie theater, like to like some kid. It's like probably Kyle when he goes to see Beauty and the Beast. He's like he's like he's like
With a cigar.
with a cigar. Yeah, he fucking,
Classic scene.
Yeah,
And you
classic.
remember what that movie was that he's watching?
What was it?
Problem Child.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
I like how they play a movie in that world. And Scorsese, he's such a a student of film. Wouldn't he put in something more historical as far as like an older
I
movie?
guess he wanted it to feel contemporary because
I
that
get-
came out the year before.
Yeah.
And I love that it's his I don't give a shit movie after Goodfellas.
Yeah.
His most stylistic one since After Hours.
And it's a
Where-
remake.
Yeah, it's a remake. I think it's just an exercise in him being commercial and
Yeah.
just making a stupid suspense movie.
Yeah.
But it is very effective.
Yeah.
Okay, number 1.
Number 1, the Addams Family. My God.
We're back to the Addams Family. Remember last episode? We had to do the fake Addams Family too.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
This is the real Addams Family movie
yeah,
here.
it's for real, for real.
I remember. Remember, we can go onto the Spice Channel. I remember that the Madams family was on there.
The Addams
The
Family.
and I was like, wait a second, what's that? I know the Addams family. I want to watch the Madams. It was like when you could kind of like go onto the porn channel
And
get,
it was like snowy.
yeah, and you get like a second of it and just like try to like.
I think that's it.
Yeah, I got a quick spot of the Madams family, and I think I got a.
Yeah, if you're a very young listener and you don't remember the Spice Channel, that was the original smut channel you could get on your TV.
Yeah.
And I went,
That was the original U-porn.
yeah.
Yeah.
I went to my cousin's house for her birthday party, and she was also my godmother because she was like 15 years older than me. And
Okay, let's give the full background here.
everybody else,
Back to Kyle's family.
Yeah.
That makes the Addams Family look
Are
normal.
we back at Quincy Center?
everybody, this is Malden, Massachusetts, by the way.
Okay.
We're getting closer to the Carr family.
Oh yeah.
North Shore. And I just remember they're like, I was the youngest one. I was like, I'm tired. They're like, go watch the TV. I turn on the TV and it's the Spice Channel and it's just people fucking.
So they had a subscription.
So they were allowing my cousin's husband to live there with them. And when I turned that on, I went back in and I was like, there's bad stuff on the TV. And everyone was like, oh, fucking Danny.
Oh my god! So he ordered it. I've never seen anyone order the Spice Channel.
No.
I've
Oh,
just seen
Dirty
this
Danny had it.
Oh, what a sicko, sick puppy.
I did by accident once.
Oh,
And then
come on!
it was
yeah.
the days
Yeah,
where-
me too.
Yeah, listen, we're not your mom. You
Yeah.
don't have to
Yeah.
lie to us.
Pay-per-view would replay it over and over all day. It was
Yeah.
like a channel.
Yeah,
that
you buy
bought.
it once
Yeah.
and it just
Yeah.
kept going.
It's like Bo is afraid over here.
Had more
Alejandro's afraid.
nudity than Bo is afraid.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to discuss the top 3 music right now?
Let's do
I'm
it.
afraid so.
Well, it's apropos because we're doing Freddie Mercury, and who is a well-known
Musician.
musician.
One of the best.
And lead singer of Queen. Number 3 song right now. I love this song. Set Adrift on Memory Bliss by PM Dawn.
Some smooth R&B
Dun,
right
dun,
there.
dun, dun. Do you know this song, Kyle?
No.
And
You
it
should-
samples True by Spandau Ballet.
Yeah, there's definitely a sample. You can't find the song anywhere on iTunes or anything. They reference Christina Applegate in it as like having a crush on her from, which is weird.
Married with Children.
Yeah.
So another contemporary reference.
Exactly. Wow, I'm picking up a trend here.
Hey.
Number true.
Number 2 for True.
Let's see. Okay. Number 2, Cream by Prince. Cream.
This is when Prince went dirty.
Yeah, he went nasty.
Yeah. Like Christina would do in a decade.
Let's get dirty. Yeah.
You're smacking Apollonia in the face.
He's doing that, but he's also doing like the Batman soundtrack. So he's like doing sexy stuff, but also kind of weird stuff.
I mean, sexy. This is full on about cum.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's sexy or
Yeah.
just smut.
It's like the Spice Channel. Number 1, When a Man Loves a Woman
When a man
by Michael Bolton.
loves a woman,
This is
can't
what
keep his mind on nothing else.
this is referenced in Office Space, where he's like, it doesn't get better for my money, but then when he does, When a Man Loves a Woman.
I mean, that is such a douche move to redo this song because it was perfect by Percy Sledge.
Well, what do you think? What else does Michael Bolton have in his bag of tricks?
And the fact that it was number 1, that just makes me sick.
Not a Michael Bolton fan.
But we
over
were
here.
talking about a couple episodes ago how everyone used to, re-record everyone's stuff back in the day, but it was more like you were saying contemporary. It was more like recent.
Yeah.
But instead of like picking up a song that was popular like 40 years ago,
Right.
and stealing it, basically.
It's a desperate move when you don't have any other ideas.
But it's Michael Bolton. He's not like an individual artist. He's not
Yeah.
like Prince, where like he has his own vision. He's a fucking karaoke star.
And you know who else he's not like?
What?
Freddie Mercury.
No.
Oh.
Speak of the devil.
Freddie Mercury was born Farrokh Bulsara on September 6th, 1946, in Zanzibar.
Wow.
Are y'all familiar with this place?
Now, where is it?
Island province off the east coast of Africa, at that time under protection from the British Empire.
So it's
Protection.
It's like a colony.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
called it a protectorate.
Oh, okay. That's like America has right now. Just a
Yeah, we'll
ton.
protect you from other people taking you over like we did.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we'll take everything you got.
Yeah, we'll protect your resources
Yeah.
for us.
We'll protect all your gold back in England.
Let me just hold on to that for a second.
Yeah.
The Bulsaras moved from West India for his father's job at the British Colonial Office. He had one younger sister named Kashmira.
Oh.
And this was a strict Zoroastrian. How do you say that?
Zoroastrian.
Zoroastrian
Maybe. I
Could
don't know.
be.
I've never heard this.
family, which means they study that religion. Comes from the Parsi community. They were known as Parsis.
Oh, wow. This is very convoluted.
Yeah, I know. We'll just keep going.
Yeah.
This religion also had early concepts of heaven and hell. Dare I say, every religion had that?
You would think so.
Yeah. So there's like are you saying there's a precursor to Christianity?
You said it.
Okay.
Growing up, Farrokh,
I never knew he had a different name.
the Rock, spent a lot of time with relatives in India. He learned how to play piano and was well educated. So they weren't like a rich family, but they were well to do with servants,
Yeah.
maids.
They're well traveled. They're going from, off the coast of Africa to India. That's kind of a long trip.
Yeah, they lived comfortably.
Yeah.
And at age 8, Farrokh was sent to an all-boys boarding school near Bombay, now modern-day Mumbai.
Ah, okay.
There's so many updates to all these places.
Yeah. Well, the British colonies, once they stopped taking over or, God gave the land back, basically, they changed some stuff up.
And it was there that he started his first band, known as the Hectics, and they would cover rock and roll songs. He was always a fan of pop music, and he could actually replay songs from the radio on his piano.
Oh, wow. So he's like listening to British and American like pop rock albums.
Yeah, whatever is on the charts, he
Like
loved
Little
it.
Richard?
Yeah, Little Richard, exactly. In fact,
Listen what I say.
he covered Little Richard in the Hectics.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
That makes sense. That's like he
Wow.
was. Well, some would say Little Richard was the first rock star, even before Elvis.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
And this is where he adopts the name Freddie.
Freddie is born.
Freddie
Farrokh is dead.
Yeah. Freddie Bulsara.
Freddie Unleashed.
At age 18, he returned to live with his family in Zanzibar until the revolution of 1964, the next year, in which the Sultan was overthrown and it became an independent republic. And wait for it, it joined with Tanganyika and became Tanzania.
Oh.
These names are gonna keep you on your toes this episode.
Due to the violence and unrest, the Bulsaras fled to central London. Freddie studied graphic design at Ealing Art College, graduated in 1969. That same year, he joined a Jimi Hendrix knockoff band called Ibex. So they would play the blues, rock and roll, that sort of thing.
What led to Ibex? I wonder. Like,
The name?
yeah.
I've tried to figure that out.
Yeah, it sounds like a tech company.
Like a Silicon Valley startup or something.
Sounds like something you wash your car window with.
Yeah.
Join the newest cryptocurrency at Ibex.
So, if you can believe it, Freddie Bulsara was a shy guy, basically an introvert.
Yeah.
And it was when he was doing his music that he would come alive. And he was still coming into his own as a singer. In the hit movie where Rami Malek won an Oscar,
The biopic, which
They make it-
I like. We've talked about. I enjoyed it.
you liked it more than I did, but we'll get to that.
Okay.
They make it seem like he's auditioning for the band, and then he goes like, I should be doing all right. And then everyone is like, oh my God, I have never.
You should join the band.
Yeah. In reality, he was so and was really learning how to project his voice.
Yeah.
He was apparently born with extra incisor teeth.
Yeah, his teeth are wild. He's
And
got
he-
a lot of them. And
So
they're
he was
big.
able to hit a lot
dolphin.
Yeah.
They say like he could get really high, get really
Because
low.
of his teeth situation?
Well, that's one of the reasons they
Yeah.
claim.
He was like part orca or something.
Or alien, whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. His
He was
teeth or
from another world. He was just one, when you have that much talent,
well,
where
that,
does it come from?
That's ballsy.
It comes from the teeth.
Yeah,
I guess.
that's where the power comes from.
And he could eat a good steak.
I bet you. Yeah, probably like 3 bites or something.
Freddie, slow down.
Yeah,
Freddie ate our porch again.
yeah. Freddie, stop it in the porch.
Freddie the chewer.
Yes.
To make money, he worked as a baggage handler at Heathrow Airport, and he also had a stall at Kensington Market with friend and flatmate Roger Taylor.
Oh.
So he leaves school and he moves out on his own. And he's like working like odd jobs and stuff.
Yeah, and at this stall, which is basically like a stand at
Yeah.
this big flea market, they sold secondhand clothes.
Oh.
And this is also where he would dip into his own product. So
Yeah.
he was always fashionable, but his own sense of fashion.
Yeah,
And very androgynous.
I bet.
And this is also the height, not the height, but probably the startings of glam rock.
So like early 70s we're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
This is around like 1969, 1970.
Yeah.
And in glam rock, it was cool to be androgynous.
Yeah.
In fact,
Well, Bowie was getting bigger, so
yeah, and a lot of those guys that acted like they were gay were actually straight.
yeah.
One guy said in one of the documentaries I watched, he's like, the gayer you acted, the hotter the chicks.
I bet you one guy just like he was like not getting any chicks at all. He thought he just kept trying and trying and trying.
Yeah.
It's you, buddy.
He puts on a bra. Hello, ladies.
There's a dildo in his hand. He's like, saved USA.
Yeah.
Oh, just kidding. It's mine.
He
And they're
gets,
like, all right, creep.
he gets pregnant somehow. Or,
Or he actually starts doing guys.
yeah. It just takes it way too
He's
far.
like, I just imagine the chicks.
I ironically fuck men.
I'm the friend that takes things way too literal.
I'm
go
so
too far.
straight that I'm gay.
I flipped out the other side.
So Roger Taylor played drums in a band called Smile, which had changed its name from 1984.
And Freddie was not in this band.
No, he was not in this band.
Because
But
that would make sense because he's got all those teeth.
yeah.
Smile.
And Roger Taylor was studying to become a dentist.
Oh, wow.
Maybe another reason for the name.
Interesting.
So Smile was flirting with success but struggling to take off, and Freddie's got his sights set because Ibex is going nowhere, and he really digs Smile's music. So by 1970, Ibex was history, and then in Smile, lead singer Tim Staffel quit the band, leaving an opening for a new singer. Dun, dun, dun.
It's really hard to find a good frontman, and he's such a unique person. I'm sure it took that band a little bit of convincing to know that that would be a good frontman idea.
Yeah, it wasn't like the movie, as I mentioned.
No, it's not. Yeah, well, everything in these ridiculous biopics are like, then they come up with all the songs right there, like on the spot when they first meet each other. It's ridiculous.
I know. Like they hear that bass line.
Yeah.
Bum, bum.
What did you just say?
That's a solid bass line you got there.
I just said another one bites the dust. I was talking about a bug over there, It's like
We're just dusting the apartment.
yeah.
Listen, we need to hurry up Act 1 here.
Yeah. People are getting bored.
So Freddie swooped in after years of being on the periphery of Smile. And then they auditioned several bass guitarists before landing on John Deacon in 1971. And the last bass guitarist before him, it was kind of cruel. They pretended like the band was just breaking up.
Really?
They said, we didn't make it. We're just going to disband. And he's like, oh, cool. Then he realized that they just were trying to get rid of him and didn't want to make him feel bad.
I've heard people doing that with improv groups. They're like, yeah, we're just we're just going to do our separate things. And then they just come back with a different name because they just want to get rid of one person.
I guess it's nicer than facing reality.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just kicking someone out of a band that means nothing at that time.
Exactly.
Yeah. This thing that makes us no money, and we, it's just something on paper that we call it ourselves and not even getting booked. You're out of it.
And when we're scared to tell you.
Yeah, we're firing you for making no money.
Donald Trump didn't believe in that theory.
Yeah.
Oh, you're fired.
You fired.
Freddie suggested they rename the band Smile to...
Queen.
You got it.
Gotta be.
He said, simple, splendid, and regal, darling.
Really? Well, the androgynous stuff was really, kick it into high gear at this time. Yeah.
They were aware of the connotations at the time, but Freddie was right. Simple, easy to remember, and powerful sounding, I would say.
Just like Freddie.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he also changed his name, last name that is, to Mercury. And the rest is history. In Roman mythology, Mercury is the god of commerce, communication, and fabulousness.
So it wasn't after the car insurance company.
No.
Okay.
Freddie also designed the Queen crest logo. Because remember, he has the background in graphic arts.
Yeah.
And the logo combines the zodiac signs of all four band members. 2 lions for Leo, which are John Deacon, the bassist, and Roger Taylor, the drummer.
And that's me, baby.
A crab.
A Leo.
Oh, nice.
A crab for Cancer, which is guitarist Brian May. And 2 fairies for Virgo, which is Mercury.
Yeah.
The band was now ready for world domination. In the early days, Freddie was taking his androgynous style and then going even further with it. Mm-hmm. He stood out because everything was black and white, flowing frocks. And here we have a clip of the publicist from EMI Records when he first noticed this band. And wait till you get a load of this guy.
Yeah, I was going to say this fucking
Is he a piece of work?
Oh,
Freddie
yeah.
Mercury was showbiz bubbler. He should have been in pantomime, really, as one of the ugly sisters. And boy, you was ugly, Freddie. I loved you, but you were ugly. I had a very dear friend
look
of
at
mine.
you.
He said, Eric, there's a band called Queen. You should come and see
Yeah, look
it.
at this beauty.
I always love to see new talent. And I went to see him. I think it might be the Marquee Club or one of those clubs. And I fell in love with them. I thought, these guys are going to be big, monster big. Freddie stood out. He stood out for me. He was the star. He was the, he loved it. I don't know. I think it's the old word, charisma. He had that
This guy's out of breath.
magic,
man.
that sparkle.
This guy's like Queen's gonna be as big as my tongue.
The goal of this guy to call someone ugly.
You pan out. He's like in his deathbed.
He is dead since this interview.
I
by
hope
the
he
way.
has some oxygen. Oh, did he die?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
feels
died
like
probably right after the interview
this was too
filmed.
much excitement for him. I think.
Choked on his own tongue.
Think about Brian. He was like great. You know, I think Brian was great.
And he says, "Bubla."
Yeah.
Gotta love
But
wacky guys where you can only understand half of what they're saying.
He's a weirdo, out of breath guy, but who's sweating for some reason. But you know, he was excited about the band. You know, you need people like that. You don't have that these days.
I'm gonna fill the place for him.
Yeah, you don't have.
I want him to say that about me.
Seriously,
Yeah,
you
you
could
don't
be
have-
the fucking manager for us.
You no longer have revolting people out there that are like willing to back up your band like that.
It's called charisma.
It's called Death and Entertainment. These kids had it. Like.
So Queen released their self-titled debut in 1973. Nothing much shaken with that. The only single that really hit was Keep Yourself Alive, which received some modest radio play in the UK, particularly by one DJ who played it over and over because he loved it. Their next two albums, Queen 2 and Sheer Heart Attack, are finally where they generated the much-needed hits, Seven Seas Awry and Killer Queen, respectively.
I remember Killer Queen. I don't know you.
Queen.
Dun, dun.
Oh man, so good.
It is. And I don't want to get off on a tangent, but that guy you just heard, the EMI publicist, he claims that song is about him.
Killer Queen?
It's actually about a call girl. But he's like, no, the thing is, I had a pretty cabinet at the time. And I remember Freddie once told me, he looked at me and he said, oh, Eric, I'm sad because I can't have you and I want you. By the way, back then I kind of was good looking at it. Now I couldn't get anything. And he was rambling. And it's like, okay, nobody believes that song is written about you, buddy.
Well, maybe Freddie, like, kept him going. Like, yeah, it's about you. Like, keep getting some gigs and stuff.
Yeah,
And
he's probably the creeping like that's about me, right, boss? Like, yeah, darling. That's
they're all about you, mate.
And nobody else is saying that
Fat bottom
anywhere.
girls.
yeah.
That was about me too. Because I saw a fat bottom at the time. So those
about
hits, those hits set the stage for their creative and commercial breakthrough, the masterpiece, A Night at the Opera, in 1975. Queen spent weeks rehearsing the music in the English countryside and then about 5 months recording it in over 7 different studios.
Damn.
Why?
Well, complex multi-tracking for the vocal harmonies, 16-track tape to a 24-track tape.
Okay.
So they use a lot more tracks.
Some of the equipment is necessary to do different songs.
And I've read that this is the most expensive album ever produced at the time of its release.
Wow.
Yeah, they don't do shit like that anymore. Or the stuff that they do is cheaper, but yet no.
It has to be way
There's no
cheaper.
record companies paying like $2 million for an
No.
album anymore.
Yeah.
For what? The Baby? Saweetie?
Oh, you da baby? Yeah.
But in the movie, the biopic, they show them like laying over the tracks, and then they just kept going. It was like, and Freddie Mercury's like, perfect. It was like super quick, but as we're seeing, it's fucking
Yeah, it
7
was
different studios.
Arduous,
It's probably,
yeah, painstaking. Like 3 people died during the making.
Yeah, they're
of it.
probably sweating,
Yeah,
about to kill each other.
Yeah.
And they thought he was crazy. They weren't like, Freddie, we love it.
Yeah.
It's about
More
me.
tracks, darling.
It's about me, right?
Yeah, that guy.
It's about me, boss.
Yeah, he keeps coming back. How did he get here?
My tracks.
He shows up as a talking head in random documentaries where they didn't even realize he was in it. He just shows up, manifests himself in
He
it.
places himself.
I've
and-
got a story to tell.
Yeah, he's in the talking tongue.
Yeah. He sounds like a British
Yeah.
Harvey Feinstein.
Harvey Firestein.
Firestein.
Yeah, talk about speaking in tongues.
Yeah.
No.
So A Night at the Opera is the epitome of Queen's eclectic style. You got rock, vaudeville, folk, Dixieland, pop, and
Opera.
opera.
Yeah.
It was the first platinum album for them in the United States. The two major singles were You're My Best Friend, written by bassist John Deacon, by the way.
Wow.
And Freddie's magnum opus, Bohemian Rhapsody, which he said was 3 songs in one. And he didn't know what to do with them, so he just threw them together.
Yeah, that was like, I think they did cover this in the biopic. It was like they wanted the final version of that to be like 9 minutes or something.
Yeah.
And EMI was like, no, we're going to cut it down to like 3 or something.
Yeah, they're like, we can't play this on the radio.
Yeah.
Unheard of to have a song that long.
But it's so good.
Yeah. And then we have a clip of Roy Thomas Baker talking about it. He helped Freddie make the song,
Yeah.
produce it.
Oh, we got another big tongue guy in here.
Oh, boy. I don't know if I'm ready for this.
I've got this idea for a song, and he sort of sat down and sort of started playing the song, and he stopped and said, "Now, dears, this is where the opera section comes in." I went, "Oh my God!" And then we get on to like the rock part of the song. When we started doing the opera section properly,
I like he took a break from drinking champagne to
it
talk
just got longer and longer, and we just kept adding blank tape to this thing, and it got bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah, he's complaining about this song that bought him this like golden piano.
Yeah.
That Elton John is jealous of.
Yeah. He's got like a Liberace set up. Like, I don't know why I did this.
Another track from A Night at the Opera is Love of My Life, written by Freddie Mercury, rumored to be about his girlfriend, Mary Austin.
But it's about me.
He first
You mean me?
he first met her through bandmate Brian May, who had been casually dating her. And she worked at this mod clothing store called Biba that he liked. He would buy clothes from there too. So he was buying a lot of clothes. He had his own store, and then he was going to her store.
Yeah. It seems like Biba has some wild clothes. Whatever they're selling is not something you'd wear to go bowling.
No, you would wear it to front the band Queen.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
At a concert.
Yeah.
They became very close and even shared an apartment in West Kensington, London. Freddie later described their relationship as a common law marriage. Despite their love for each other, Freddie began an affair with David Mins, an executive at Elektra Records, which was the label that handled Queen's American distribution. Okay. So in England, it was EMI. In the United States, it was Elektra. So he's in love with this David guy and also in love with Mary, but he's probably doing David more often, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I think one's for a night out to go to the Emmys and one's for, a night inside.
To play Where's the Emmy?
Yeah.
Or Hide the Emmy, I should say.
It's in the bum.
So
Found it.
others say Love of My Life was actually based on David Mins. Mary and Freddie broke up in 1976 after he came out to her as bisexual, a scene that the movie so delicately demonstrates.
Yeah. Oh, God. He looks like Michael Jackson in this.
I've been thinking about it a lot.
I like
children. I'm bisexual.
Oh, my God.
Sorry, I'll go back on that.
No, you didn't miss anything.
You okay? What do you want from me?
Almost everything.
Except your vagina.
Oh, boy.
Then David Mins is like, what do you want from me? And then he's like, well.
Everything you got.
Yeah, what do you got? Yeah, so in the clip, he's like, I'm bisexual.
Yeah.
But that is a very common thing for someone who is gay, especially to their parents who they feel is like they're old school. They won't know what I'm going through. So they're like, oh, I like men and women. So you still have a chance.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, we know what's up.
He was a bit bi, though, too, I have to say.
Really?
Yeah.
Little bit.
Pretty fluid.
Okay.
You're saying his fluid was pretty?
Oh.
And the other pet peeve I have about the movie is the teeth they gave him.
Yeah, and the way he talks too, it's just like it's so off-putting.
They practically put chiclets in his mouth.
Yeah.
He looks like Bucky Larson.
Yes.
We get the point.
I don't think it's really necessary.
No.
I think just just play him as a person and not have to do these ridiculous mannerisms and stuff.
Because he couldn't talk the whole time. He's like licking his teeth
Yeah.
because he's got these really big fake teeth in his mouth the whole time.
Yeah.
Anthony Cumia, I just watched a video on him
Oh,
today
God.
where he was holed up in a hotel when he was on the road.
Speaking of maniacs.
Yeah. And he was watching PBS because there was nothing else on. And they had the Bee Gees cover band, the Australian Bee Gees is what they call it. And they had it like a 2-hour spectacular live concert. And he said all the guys in the band had like the fake buck teeth in while they were singing. It was like
so weird.
It's the most
Unnecessary.
fucking
But
ridiculous
the
thing.
Bee Gees were Australian also, though, right? So they're just a Bee Gees band.
But
I thought they were British.
Bee Gees?
I thought they were British too. They might be Australian, but regardless, they had everyone in the band from the drummer to the fucking keyboardist and the lead singers fucking snapping giant teeth in, and they're all fucking doing this. while
so
they're
odd.
singing.
If I was a Bee Gees, I'd hate that shit, man.
Yeah, exactly. It's like luckily they're all of them except for one are dead.
Yeah.
Like-
And I think that'll finish them off.
I miss my family.
The whole movie Bohemian Rhapsody, it looks like one of those joke photos where you pose with the fake teeth. And he won an Oscar, so he gets the last laugh.
I know, for real.
True.
So after they broke up, Freddie bought Mary a flat nearby, and they remained the best of friends for the rest of his life. Quote, all my lovers ask me why they couldn't replace Mary, but it's simply impossible.
But were they actually good friends? Because the movie depicts
Yes.
a different thing where, like, they were neighbors. He would call her, but she seemed, like, super upset.
That was made up.
Really?
Yes.
But she was actually, like, happy with
They
his
didn't
life.
have some insider
The
info.
movie should have been called Once Upon a Time in England.
Ooh.
It was so inaccurate.
Wow,
Everything
shots
about it.
fired from Alejandro.
It's yeah. It's about as real as Lord of the Rings.
Wow.
Wait, that wasn't real?
To Zachary Hughes it was.
And so in some ways, Freddie was hetero-romantic.
Yeah.
An early girlfriend, Rose, said she knew he was gay when he became enamored with photographs of men wrestling in the nude at an art exhibition.
Oh, okay.
It was just Andy Kaufman and Jerry the King Lawler.
If that's your porn, like, you got bigger problems.
In a 1974 interview with New Musical Express, the reporter asked him if he was bent. And then Freddie replied, "You're a crafty cow." And he went on to
People
declare...
talked so weird back in the day.
He declared, "I am as gay as a daffodil, my dear."
Are you bent? Are you bent? What do you,
You want to bend my dick? And if you want to see some of his
No.
cheeky interview styles, here we go.
Here we go, darling.
Do you have hobbies?
I am not. Yeah, a lot of sex. Try and get out of that one.
Living in a country, well, I mean, it's
Yeah.
true.
You're
and
going to ask
living-
me about taxis, go on.
No, I'm not. I'm going to-
Listen, if you guys want to move around and shift your asses a little, it's okay. It's okay by us, right? You can take all your clothes off if you like to. Doesn't matter.
saucy?
Fuck off.
I want everyone to get fucked all night, every day, just like I do.
What about the actual work in the studio when you four come together and everybody wants to bring his side of songs?
It's like a
arguments.
cockfight, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Four
we've all, 4 cocks fighting. God, it's getting nice, this.
How would you describe yourself as an artist? Would you say that you're a very organized person, very spontaneous person, or how would you say?
No, myself as an artist, I'm just a musical prostitute, my dear. That's basically that.
Organized or not?
Oh, who cares?
So as you can see, he had
Turned
fun
everything
with the
into
press.
sex, yeah.
Yeah. Also just not taking the press very seriously.
Yeah.
He never said what the songs are actually about and didn't like giving interviews or revealing too much of himself.
They never really outed him either, did they?
They didn't really need to. People were curious.
Yeah.
But it's weird how many people thought he was straight because of the Mary Austin thing.
Oh, I'm sure the PR teams of the record companies, they had money then still, so they actually did some work to make that case.
And that was the time, as I mentioned earlier, where there were an actual lot of straight guys prancing around, you know, like Ziggy Stardust and Mata Hoople, and later on people like Dee Snider and Twisted Sister.
Yeah, but also there are fans that would refute the fact that he is gay, because I remember when I was a kid, me and my friend went to like his family's fucking picnic or whatever, and barbecue, and someone put Elton John on over the friggin' like CD speakers, whatever. Elton John comes over the speakers, and
Goodbye, Yellow Brick Road.
This drunk friggin' Bostonian just goes with a Bud Light in his hand, just goes, I fucking liked Elton John before he was gay. It's like,
what?
Yeah, he was always gay. He just couldn't accept the fact that he was gay.
And he didn't officially come out till like 1992.
Yeah. So I'm sure there were Queen fans, especially 70s, 80s, being like, he's not gay. And someone else is like, yeah. And he's like, no.
That's why he didn't come out. There was no benefit to doing it, because they're doing world tours going all over the place.
Yeah.
And it would be better if they were just perceived as
That's why people
straight.
stay in the closet as far as their political beliefs too, because
Oh,
they don't want
100%.
to lose like half of their audience.
Yeah.
Why bother? Yeah.
Exactly.
But it's different in this circumstance. That it's just people that are like hateful, or they wouldn't like you if they found.
Yeah.
But they don't
It's
want to be
stupid.
singing.
Yeah.
I feel like in that time, the earlier time, people didn't want to be singing their songs if they found out they were about a guy.
Yeah.
Exactly. Following the explosive success of A Night at the Opera, Queen released the follow-up, A Day at the Races. Both Marx Brothers movies, by the way, the titles. Night at the Opera, Day at the Races.
Hey, what do you say, huh?
And Groucho Marx called them up and wanted to meet them.
Oh, wow.
That would be the weirdest meeting ever.
So they did, and they gave him like a commemorative gold pressing of the records or something.
Yeah.
And that's when he talked like this, because he was like 100 years old.
Was Groucho Marx?
Groucho, yeah.
Yeah.
In his,
Oh, it's like George Burns was there?
Look him up in the 70s. That was his shtick. He was this really old.
I heard like he
comedian.
was still a fan of like people that were coming up. I think I heard Robert Klein said Groucho Marx sent him a letter that says, come out to Los Angeles. I'll buy you dinner. If I like you, I'll buy you breakfast too. like meaning they were gonna have sex or something.
Then Freddie's like, "You're a bad dog."
Yeah, they'd get along very well with this saucy talk.
Groucho was also friends with Alice Cooper.
What?
So Day at the Races, that's where Somebody to Love came from. Touching on gospel now. Big hit. Then they followed that up with News of the World, the album, which was influenced by the Sex Pistols coming onto the scene. And they wanted to be a little more hard rock. There's a story about Freddie and Sid Vicious, where Sid Vicious burst into the studio one time and was like, I hope you guys are happy for bringing ballet to the masses. And then Freddie called him like Stanley Ferocious or something. And then pinned him against the wall and was like, yeah, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah, Freddie Mercury's a big guy. Like, he'll fuck you up. Like, especially Sid Vicious. I think those guys thought because they're crazy punk guys that, they could, people are afraid of them. They get their ass. Like, Freddie Mercury's like 6'5" or something.
Yeah, and I love that. I love that he wasn't afraid to be who he was and that he wasn't going to take shit from people either.
Yeah.
But that was what I think punk started out as, is like kind of cleaning out these big operatic rock bands and stuff with their big stupid tours and
Stupid tours.
No, I'm not saying they're stupid, but like that Toto and a lot of these other big bands that they found annoying.
Yeah.
Right.
Freddie Mercury will fuck you up and dick you down, which are those two things combined.
Yeah.
Okay.
Way worse.
Yeah. It's a deadly combo in a man.
He'll fuck you up and he'll fuck you.
Yeah, he'll fuck you.
So News of the World gave us We Are the Champions and the B-side, We Will Rock You. Sports anthems, I love it. I was always fascinated that these big sports anthems played everywhere, every game.
Yeah.
and it was written by a
One of the
bisexual
gayest
guy.
people on the
Yeah.
planet. Yeah. I
He's
thought
singing
it
it,
was-
in his underwear.
Yes.
And all the most macho bros are like, "We are the champ." They're not very picky though, because another
Gary Glitter.
Yeah, Gary Glitter. Rock and roll.
Yeah. Da-da-na-na-na-na.
He's the biggest fucking
Well,
pedophile.
he's a pedophile. Yeah.
He is?
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
He's the
Yeah.
biggest pedo this side of the Philippines.
That's old news.
Da-na-na-na.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
da-na-na-na. That's a pedophile?
All these jock jams are created by some very interesting people.
Jocks don't really care.
No.
But also these days, they don't even care, obviously, who Freddie would be going to bed with. But I'm talking like in the 90s.
Yeah.
They followed that up with jazz, which does not have any jazz on the album, by the way. And that gave us Fat Bottom Girls and B-side Bicycle Race. The album was released with a commemorative poster of naked women riding bicycles.
I remember buying that best of album and those pictures. I'm like, what is like? This is a very weird thing for this band.
Experimental, yeah.
Yeah.
And apparently when they returned the bikes, the store had to change all the seats.
Okay.
Because the women were naked.
No, Freddie wanted the seats taken off.
So he could ride it?
So it's just a pole. Like my uncle. I told that story before.
Yeah, you
My
did.
uncle wasn't gay. Left with his friend on a bicycle race across country. Came back. He was gay. I was like, we should have known because he didn't have the seat on the bike. Okay.
Nice.
And you know what else is nice? The Game, their next album in 1980, gave us 2 #1 hits. And we're talking in the U.S. as well.
Yeah.
Major, major songs. Crazy Little Thing Called Love and Another One Bites the Dust.
Major.
I think Another One Bites says one of my. I started listening to that again after the movie because I thought it's a great song.
Yeah.
One of the best bass lines.
Yeah.
Alone. And then John Deacon gave us Under Pressure about a year after that. And that was an improvised session between Bowie and Freddie Mercury. They did a bunch of coke one night, and they just started riffing, and it turned into Under Pressure.
So whose album is that on? Both?
That's on Hot Space from Queen.
Oh, okay.
But it was released as a single on its own before that album.
Great song.
Queen has so many best rock songs, best anthems.
Yeah.
So Queen accompanied each album release with a world tour, which took them from Milwaukee to Boston to Tokyo.
To Framingham.
Framingham.
On the road, Freddie let loose and explored his sexuality. As his bandmates got married and became more family-oriented, he became more gay-oriented.
Did you write that yourself?
And his look evolved too. Now he's wearing leather.
Yeah. He's still got the mustache, though, and like
Still? You
Yeah.
mean he's growing the mustache?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't have a mustache in the early days.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's really evolving here. Across the pond, his favorite hotspot was Mineshaft in New York City. And this is an infamous members-only leather bar located in the meatpacking district.
Okay. Kyle, we set you up perfectly.
I
there.
know. I always when I moved to New York City when I was in my early 20s, I thought the meatpacking district was like a slur term for the gay part of town, and I'm not kidding.
You mean Fire Island, right?
Yeah, I'm not joking.
But this, I imagine he'd hit up Studio 54 back in the day. If
Oh, yeah.
If it was still going on then.
Wherever the party was, yeah.
Yeah.
The dress code at Mineshaft was anything from jeans, uniforms, leather gear, and jock straps.
Yeah.
No cologne or disco drag allowed.
This sounds like where Vito got caught in Sopranos.
Oh, yeah. And in the video for Don't Stop Me Now, Freddie proudly wears a Mineshaft t-shirt.
He's got merch.
And
have merch.
Brian
having
May
a good time, having a good time.
Brian May wasn't such a big fan of the song because he thought it symbolized Freddie's excess.
So they didn't want. They're like, all right, the gay stuff is cool, but let's not get too crazy here.
He was going really gay at this time.
Yeah.
And then
I'm a shooting star.
he was already pretty gay. And then he saw the Village People and he's like, I'm going to copy that look. So then he went even gayer and got like a policeman hat and sunglasses.
And that he had like his microphone was very unique. It was like a staff.
He would always pull it out.
Yeah. No, and then it made it into like he looked like He-Man, like a character from He-Man or something that had like a big staff.
Yeah.
Or something.
That was his signature move with the microphone.
Yeah. Pulling the mic
freewheeling.
stand out of the top.
No, but
like,
not just the mic itself, but he wanted like the base of a stand.
Right.
I don't know. It was definitely a different, more unique look than a lot of what bands were doing around this time.
And the other guys are doing their own thing, so they're not as outlandish. So Queen really...
Brian just had the huge hair. His hair was like fucking huge.
Yeah, it was like Marge Simpson.
Yeah, it was insane.
And it's still like Marge Simpson.
Yeah, he
except
still
gray.
looks like that. Yeah.
It's really gray. Or white, I should say. But yeah, so that band really, they were 4 pieces that became this whole. That's why they're so unique, I think. Freddie's appetite was so voracious. Sometimes he could hardly wait for the concert to be over, so he would get serviced while performing. And I have a clip from an audiobook about Mr. Mercury. And this story is taken from a road manager.
Around 78, 79, when Queen became huge, Freddie's appetite soared. He was non-stop sex and drugs. Before a show, after a show, even between songs. Before an encore, he'd nip backstage, have a few lines of coke, get a quick blowjob from some bloke he just met, then run back to the stage and finish the gig. The man had stamina. For Freddie, and for the rest of Queen, there was to be no let-up in their hectic schedules.
So what's the problem?
Yeah. Sounds like typical rock star behavior.
I hate the way they say schedules.
Schedule.
It's schedule.
No, it's schedule, darling.
We created the language.
So he happily adopted a hedonistic lifestyle. Quote, excess is part of my nature. Dullness is a disease. I was not made for staying indoors and watching television. I like to have sexual intercourse all the time. He allegedly went to bed with hundreds of men. Was the promiscuity there to cure his loneliness? I don't know.
I mean, I'm surprised if it's hundreds. It's got to be thousands.
Yeah.
No, I meant hundreds in 1978.
Oh, just in 1978.
No, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
Well, yeah. No, it had to be 1,000. It had to be
Well,
thousands.
I think he's used to being alone because he's like, you know, he came from a different background. You just plopped right into London and stuff. And you're just like, you always feel like an outsider probably at that. On top of the part, he's gay, which I'm sure just, you know, made it wilder for him.
And he was not forthcoming about his background ever, that he was Farrokh Bulsara or from Zanzibar.
And did he even talk to his parents, really?
They get along all right. There's a lot they don't know.
Yeah, I bet.
He wasn't forthcoming. He was backcoming.
Besides
Moving
sex,
on.
besides sex and rock and roll, there was also drugs.
I bet.
At the clubs, all kinds of candy was passed around, including coke, acid, quaaludes, seconal, and ecstasy, which were labeled as happy pills and sold for $10 a pop.
God, I wish I was born at this time.
Yeah.
Because of the drugs or the sex?
Yup. Yes.
Yes and yes.
Freddie also threw his own debaucherous parties that were legendary. At the launch party for the album Jazz, which was on Halloween in New Orleans, there were strippers, snake charmers, nude waitstaff, a man biting off chickens' heads, wrestling models, 30,000 pounds worth of champagne. Pounds, I believe, in the British sense, the currency.
Yeah.
And get this, for the finale, dwarves in G-strings with plates of cocaine strapped to their heads.
I need this.
And this is what Sacha Baron Cohen wanted to portray in his version of the Freddie Mercury biopic.
Yeah, we talked about that. That would have been great. But they had a different, more wholesome vision for the movie.
They made a family film, PG-13,
Yeah.
where nothing is accurate.
Yeah.
And it made $1 billion.
Sacha Baron Cohen was in the running to do Bryan Singer.
Initially, yeah. But
very seriously, he came close to doing the movie.
He would be great.
But the problem was with a lot of these biopics is the band owns all the songs. So whatever they want, they're gonna hang those songs over the head of that. Like Madonna, that they almost did that biopic before she killed that. So like they're gonna do whatever they want. And they want to include their own, personas into this movie too, where the real story is Freddie Mercury in the dwarf cocaine stuff.
You're getting it right now.
Yeah.
The real story.
Yeah, exactly.
From the late 70s to the mid 80s, Freddie split his time between London and Munich, a place he particularly loved because he could live in peace and quiet. And also the city's nightlife was one big playground for him. One of his pastimes in Munich involved a group of young men who would be led into his room, and then they would parade around wearing nothing but women's hats.
Hello.
And then he would choose one or two of them to be his companion or companions for the night.
Imagine if Hitler knew this was going on. Probably roll in his fucking grave.
He'd be like, fuck! Look what I'm missing!
Yeah, exactly. He might actually be down with this stuff.
His routine would be to record music and then go hit the party scene. Freddie threw an epic 39th birthday party at Henderson's nightclub, his favorite dance spot in Munich. The affair was something out of a Fellini film. Black and white dress code, flamenco dancers, ballerinas, performers dressed up like trolls, ogres, and thieves. That sounds like a Cher song.
Yeah.
There were fireworks, and for the finale, another dwarf. This time he's covered in pate and nothing else. And he would shake every time somebody stuck their dull knife into him.
What?
Okay, let's just move on.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of this.
In London, he would often go to Heaven, which of course is a gay nightclub. The most popular one there. And they had an adjoining leather bar called The Cellar, which was a dark room where anything goes.
Jesus Christ.
And
what goes on in the rest of the place?
You see someone blowing a dude by the bathroom.
Yeah.
He's like, you should see The Cellar.
Yeah. That's when people really let their hair down.
So at this time, he's got the full-on what is called the clone look, which was just that masculine mustache look that gay men adopted in the 1980s.
Mm-hmm.
And it was Heaven, the nightclub, where Freddie was chatting with a handsome flight attendant from Quebec one night. They had previously been introduced in New York City by a mutual acquaintance. His name was Gaetan Dugas. Although their conversation was brief, little did Freddie know that he was the man who would be dubbed Patient Zero of the AIDS epidemic.
No fucking way.
Wait, what? He was infected by patient zero.
No way.
Wait, but
find out next week.
No, but I don't know. I don't know anything about it.
I'm going to explain it.
All right, let's hear it.
To be continued. This has been a production of Death in Entertainment. Join us again next week to hear the riveting final chapter in the remarkable life of Freddie Mercury. Please add it to your schedule. Cheerio.